Greetings and welcome back, Shayda.
Hi, Amy. It's so good to be back with you. Thank you so much for having me here
Oh,
today.
I missed you. You were on a while ago and you did a wonderful recipe demo for us, and you're going to be doing another one today. And I'm so
Good.
excited. And you have
Thank
some
you.
fans, and they're going to be probably shouting out. I hope that they'll say hi in the comments if they're not too shy. Maybe they'll say hi.
I hope so. I hope they do. That would be great.
And I want to give you a solo screen so we could get a closer look at all the beautiful colors and ingredients that have prepared to make this recipe for us. I'm so excited about that.
We eat with our eyes, and if the food doesn't look pretty, if the plate doesn't look pretty, I don't care what it is, you're not going to eat it. So
Hmm.
you have to make it really inviting, and you do that with throwing in a lot of color in there.
Yeah, and you do such a good job. Uh,
Thank you.
T said hi, Shada and Amy. Greetings, T. We don't know her name or his name, but T says hi, so that's nice.
That's very nice. That's very nice. Well, I'm glad
Yeah,
they're all here joining us today.
yeah, and I mean, you had a lot of recipes that you grew up with that you had to convert over into this lifestyle, and that's really exciting too. So we'll talk about it later. You have a website with lots of recipes, and
Yes.
and a lot of the things that you highlight are Persian recipes. And I love that about this lifestyle because you can just kind of eat internationally.
Absolutely, because one of the things was when I converted to being plant based, I was not about to give up my food, like my Persian food. That's what I grew up on, and our food really isn't that unhealthy. We use a lot of fresh herbs and beans, and we eat a lot of potatoes and rice. The thing that was bad was the oil and the meat and the dairy.
Mhm.
So it really wasn't that hard to convert some of the recipes, and it's really been exciting to see. In fact, my aunt is coming over tomorrow night, and we're trying to recreate because the Persian New Year was last Monday, and it's going on. So we're trying to recreate one of the recipes that we used to have as a kid. And
Oh.
I told him, and it uses chickpea flour and stuff like that. It's a chickpea cookie, but the original recipe has a lot of butter and a lot of oil, which we're gonna. So tomorrow night she's coming over because I'm really excited about converting that recipe and see what we can come up with. We've done quite a few, and I'm hoping that this one will turn out. Because if this turns out, it's going to be amazing.
Oh, yeah, I'm so excited about that because it's so much fun to eat all these international types of food, and I'm sure eventually you're gonna share that on
Oh,
your website, so that'll be fun to hear about. Yeah, and the first time that you came on the broadcast, you actually told us about your story with this whole food plant-based lifestyle, but maybe some people that are watching know the story or maybe they didn't get a chance to see it. I don't know. So I thought it would be fun to just start off with our game of true or false.
It's
sounds
time for True or False on Be Green with Amy Live. Answer true or false to Amy's questions in the comments below, and Amy will ask our guest for the expert answer.
Okay, so the first question is true or false? In her late 40s, Jada reached her highest weight of nearly 240 pounds. So type in your guess, true or false. What do you think, Green Warriors? And Shada is going to answer that question. Okay,
that's
Shada, go ahead.
that is true. That is very,
Wow.
very true.
Oh, look, Anne guessed correctly. She must be a big fan because she knew. That's amazing. And I love that one of the reasons why I brought that up was because some people that are watching might be in their late 40s or later and think, "Oh, it's too late for me." Or even maybe they're in their 30s and they think it's too late because of all the struggles they've been through. And it's never too late, right, Shada?
It is never, ever, ever, ever too late, and you should never, ever give up. And yeah, don't let anybody derail you. Don't let anyone talk you out of it.
Oh, yeah, that's a big deal. Okay, so we have another true or false. True or false, when Shada turned 50, Shayda was a vegan and still overweight. That's a tricky question. What do you think, Green Warriors? Okay, they're typing in their answers. And what do you say, Shayda?
I say that's true because I was a junk food vegan. There's a lot of vegan foods out there that are bad for us, and they've got a lot of stuff in there that are not good for us. So you can definitely be overweight and still be vegan.
Wow. See that? And that sometimes people, when they see what I'm eating, they say, "Are you vegan?" And of course, I have to say, I'm not, I don't eat like a vegan necessarily. But yeah, I actually answer that I'm a nutritarian because that's a word that Dr. Furman coined.
Oh,
And
absolutely. And
yeah,
I agree with you. I don't say I'm vegan anymore. I say I'm plant-based.
right,
And
right.
then they look at me and I'm like, well, Oreos is vegan, and no, I don't eat that stuff. I eat a whole food plant-based diet.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Okay, so here's another one. True or false? Since adopting a whole food plant based diet in 2012, which is exactly the same year that I did,
yay, that's why we get along so well.
Shada has maintained a weight loss of 115 pounds. Okay, Green Warriors, what do you think that answer is? Okay, go ahead, Shada.
That would be true. It's the first
Oh,
time in my life that I have been able to keep the weight off as long as I have, and I'm not weighing, measuring any of my food. I eat until I'm comfortably full, and it's really nice that I can get up in the morning and a pair of pants that I haven't tried on or worn in a couple of years, I put it on. I'm like, oh my God, this fits. Like this is so cool. Yeah.
right. And you're not hanging on to clothes now in your closet that you hope one day
Oh
will
God,
fit,
no.
right?
Amy, I got rid of everything. And I should have actually kept one piece so I could show it to people, you know?
Yeah.
But I didn't. I got rid of everything. Because if I gain weight and I don't fit into the clothes I have upstairs, we're in deep trouble. And I mean deep trouble.
Yeah.
There's no going back anymore.
Yep, you're right. And that's another reason why I wanted to bring that up was because not only are people maybe thinking it's too late, but so many people they call themselves diet experts and they've been on every kind of diet and successfully lost some weight on those diets only to gain it back and more. And that's why it's you were one of them, right? And
I
so
absolutely.
yeah, so it's so important to show people that you just have to pick the right type of lifestyle in order to get that weight loss and maintain it.
Absolutely. That
Yeah,
is 100%
yeah.
correct.
So that's over a decade.
which
So
is which is still I sometimes have to pinch myself and say, really, I'm still doing it. And then like I'm really good friends with Chef AJ,
yes.
and she's always like in the back of my mind going, oh my God, she's watching me, she's doing this, because she's always said, if I see you gaining any weight, I'm gonna smack you upside the head.
Yeah, because you're kind of like her poster child, right?
Yeah, and I'm like, don't worry. And in fact, she's coming over to my house probably in the next month or two. And I'm like, oh, thank God, I don't have to. And what's funny about her is she'll come and she'll check the refrigerator, the freezer. I'm like, okay, after all these years, you're still checking? Seriously?
Oh, wow. That's nice. So you
She
have
was
a
like, why?
lifelong accountability partner. You don't need
Oh,
one anymore, but she's
well, no,
there.
you kind of do, because the devil's always dancing on your shoulder, and
Yes.
there's always those temptation foods that are out there, and so to have AJ and JP one on each shoulder keeping me on the straight and narrow, I think I'm going to be good.
And then all of us fans that are watching you, right? You can't let us down either.
Well, that's the other thing. That's probably one of the reasons I started the YouTube channel, and it's like I have to hold myself accountable to everybody out there. So
Right. And we're not asking anybody to do anything that we're not doing ourselves. And we
absolutely,
still have our temptations and our struggles, but we know that this is the best lifestyle, not just because we want to maintain our weight loss, but because we want to look forward to a healthy life as we
I
as we
totally,
age. Yeah.
absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more.
O-
Absolutely.
Okay, so I have one more true or false, and Shayda helped me with this one. True or false? Every now and then, Shayda will drive through In and Out for a burger and fries and a shake. True or false? What do you think, Green Warriors? Okay, they're going to answer. Shayda, what's your answer?
That's a hell no. That's a hell to the no.
not
I
not
hope
even.
everybody agrees with that.
Oh, yep. Look, we have some people that have been answering.
They're like, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it would be fun to throw in a false, something.
Yeah, keep everybody on their toes. And but
Exactly.
so we don't drive through. We might drive by, but we won't drive through. And we,
Well, you
yeah,
may even drive through, but just keep going.
yeah, yeah. I laugh because a lot of people that I meet that are plant based, they say when they're driving around or traveling, sometimes they stop at McDonald's because they have a nice restroom,
Yeah. And you know what? There's
or they
also,
get water, or they buy some water or something too.
I've actually stopped at Wendy's Burger. And
Yeah,
I'll tell you why, because at Wendy's, I can get a baked potato with nothing on it. And to me, I'm like, I'm fine with that. I'll go and I'll get a baked potato, nothing on it. And I've got the rest of the stuff with me and it satisfies me and I'm good to go.
yeah.
That's about the only place that I may go.
Hmm. Yeah, it's wonderful. It's wonderful to have that option, I never understood why they did it, but apparently, and they still do it, and they still offer it. So I'm glad,
I'm glad
because
they
it
do
is
because
nice.
I see Wendy's at the airports a lot. And
Oh
it's really
yeah,
nice that at the airport, you can go somewhere and get some raw vegetables and then you can go here and get your baked potato and you've got a meal ready to go.
wow,
Yeah.
that's great. I didn't think about them that they would be at the airport. I'll have to think about that the next time I'm traveling.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Shayda, tell us what you're going to make, and let's get started.
Well, I'm making a burrito bowl because one of the things that I really missed when I converted to this lifestyle was burritos, and I was unfortunately the one that was driving through Del Taco, Taco Bell, you name it. I was there and always getting a burrito, and then I thought, well, I can still make it and make it into a burrito bowl salad type of thing using the same basic ingredients. So I don't know if you guys have the recipe or not, but if you do,
Yeah,
you
it's
follow
going to be
along.
in the show notes for them, and I just put that up so they can follow along and get the recipe anytime they need it. Hmm.
Okay, that's perfect. So I always buy the big bags of the romaine lettuce, and what I do is I'll wash it, clean it, and put it out, let it dry, and then I put it in the bag and keep it in the refrigerator. So I always have romaine lettuce on hand because I grew up eating a lot of romaine lettuce, and my mom really loves um, romaine lettuce. So I'm just going to be chopping that up into bite-sized bites. And if you don't want to use romaine, you don't have to. You could use spring mix. You could use whatever lettuce you like. I don't want people to get too bogged down for the exact recipe. These are, I try to give you guys a roadmap and you can make it to the stuff that you like. Like today, we have black beans going in here. Some people may not like black beans. Some people may want pinto beans or kidney beans or garbanzo beans. Guess what? You're free to add that in. You don't have to do it exactly the way I do it. I think people sometimes get too caught up in the exact recipe and they don't try a little bit of a different thing, which sometimes by trying a little bit of something different, adding something different than what I've got in here, you'll be surprised. You give it such a great food or great flavor. So I don't know. I'm not one to follow recipes exactly, even my own recipes. I don't know about you, Amy, but this is
Yeah,
what
I think that my husband does a lot of the cooking, but when I make things, I have things that I've made so often that I don't have to really think about it. But then I love to sometimes, if I have things in the refrigerator that might look like they're not going to last much longer, I like to just kind of get them all together and throw them in with something. Even if I just take raw vegetables, chop them up and put some balsamic vinegar or a dressing that we make a honey mustard kind of, it doesn't have honey in it, but it tastes like a honey mustard kind of dressing, and I'll use
Right.
that. Yeah.
No, that's what I do at times. The other night I came home and, we didn't have anything, and I'm like, what do we have in the freezer? And I always stock the freezer with frozen vegetables. Always. I always have frozen vegetables on hand, and I have frozen brown rice on hand. And guess what? I made a quick stir fry out of all that within 10 minutes. And it was absolutely delicious. And it was just taking, what I had in the freezer and putting it together. So
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, because you can put all these things together, and mostly everything goes together. And
absolutely.
yeah, or some.
Absolutely. Right now, I'm chopping up a red bell pepper. That's going to go in here. Some people say, why do I always use red? Well, if you haven't noticed, red is my favorite color. That's the first thing. But more importantly, a bell pepper is not fully ripe until it is red. And that's why you'll see that the red bell pepper is usually more expensive than, let's say, the green bell pepper. The green bell pepper is still completely raw. And I really didn't know anything about this until I went to Optimum Health Institute in San Diego. And they had a garden in the back, and they were growing their own bell peppers. And it was really kind of cool. I went out and I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh my God, it's green. Then it's starting to turn yellow. Then it's starting to turn orange. And then it's starting to turn red. And I was like, oh my God, I've been eating raw bell peppers. And then you taste the red, and the red is so sweet and it's so delicious.
Mm.
So from that moment on, I completely stayed away from the green. I'll buy orange and sometimes yellow just because I want the colors in there. But it's been probably, I don't know, over 10 years, maybe longer, that I bought one green bell pepper. And people at first don't believe me. I remember I was at somebody's house and the discussion came up about bell peppers. And he's like, no. There's red, there's orange, there's yellow, and there's green. I'm like, no, well, there is, but it starts out as green, and then it becomes yellow, and then it becomes orange, and then finally, at its ripest and sweetest, it's going to be the red. He just kept arguing with me back and forth. And finally, he took out his phone, and I think he Googled everything, right? And he's like, oh, yeah, you're right.
That would have made a good true or false question.
Well, you can use it next time.
Yeah, we might have stumped some people with that one. Jessie T said, whoa, I didn't know that.
See? And that's the beauty of it. So if you guys can, always try to go for the red. Not only is it, look, it just makes the salad pop, right? But
Yeah.
but it also it's sweet and it's absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
So.
I never really cared for the green peppers, and when I was growing up, and I didn't really know, and till I became plant-based and started learning about it, about the different degrees of ripeness. So yeah, I won't. I'll eat it if it's there, but I won't intentionally put it in any of my food because I don't really care for it. It does have a different taste.
I really didn't know about it. I always thought, like this guy, I thought there was 4 different varieties of bell peppers.
Yeah,
And it wasn't until I went to Optimum Health Institute in 2007 and I saw it with my own eyes, and I'm like, oh my God, that's it, no more. And since then, I haven't touched it. And unless we're educated about it, I didn't know. I really didn't.
Yeah. It's so, and we learn so much about cooking and then about different spices and different types of foods. It's so nice to be on this lifestyle because you really do learn a lot.
You absolutely do. So the next thing I'm going to add to this is roasted corn. Because corn is delicious. Now I'm going to be adding black beans. So, like I said, if you don't like black beans, you could do kidney beans. You could do pinto beans. You could do whatever bean you like. Just make sure you get some beans in there, so that it'll make it more delicious for you. And then we're also going to add some chopped up red onion that I chopped up ahead of time, because onions always make me cry, and I did not want to cry on Amy's show in front of you guys. And then the other thing that I'm going to be adding to this is cooked quinoa. Now, you don't have to use quinoa in this. You could use millet, you can use rice, you can use black rice, you can use red rice, you can use any color of quinoa that you like. It's whatever you want. That's why I like this recipe, because it's so versatile, and you can really, let's say you don't have quinoa, but you have brown rice, well, throw the brown rice in there. It's, you know, you don't have to be so like, oh my God, I got to go to the store and I have to get exactly what's on the recipe. That's the beauty of this recipe. And the quinoa, if you guys have an Instant Pot, the easiest way to cook this quinoa, I took 1 cup of dried quinoa that I rinsed under cold water. I put it in my Instant Pot with 1.5 cups of water, closed the lid, sealed it, put it on for 2 minutes, let the pressure come down naturally, then fluff it and take it out. And you've got beautiful made quinoa. I mean, seriously, it doesn't get easier than that. It really doesn't. So I'm going to add, and I'm not going to use all the quinoa that I made. I'm going to add some quinoa to this. Let's see.
I actually have my quinoa in a glass jar, and I taped onto the outside of the glass jar the Instant Pot directions, you know, how many cups, how many minutes, natural press release. And so this way I don't have to think about it, you know, because if I don't make it for a while and then I pull it out, and I don't have to think, oh, how long does that take? And it's just there. There's all these little shortcuts that I've learned.
We eat a lot of quinoa in the house.
Yeah.
An awful lot. So, and my mom is older, so I need to get more, and I know we talk about protein, and our diet has a lot of protein, but you know, I was talking to Brenda Davis, and she really emphasized that the older we get, the more protein our bodies need, especially for women.
Yes.
That we really do need more. So
I'm glad that you heard about that, because I've interviewed some women that have not heard about it, and it's so important to know that, and we really need to get those misconceptions straightened out there, because it is very important. Dr. Furman also talks about that as well.
Absolutely. Yes,
So,
he does. He absolutely talks about it. So it's important that we get that in, and that's why, you know, for mom, quinoa, beans, and all that, she loves it, and it's good. Now the next thing, okay, so I was going to add avocado to this, but I went to the store and the recipe calls for avocado, and all the avocado were as hard as a rock. So I'm like, and 9 out of 10 when I make this for us at home, I don't really use the avocado. Avocado is an option. If you're at your goal weight, by all means, use it. But if you're trying to lose weight, I don't recommend that you use the avocado. I know it's a healthy fat. I know it's good. But I also know, and I've talked to some people, that like an avocado can sit at my house and I won't think about it. I won't touch it. And then all of a sudden it goes bad and I have to toss it out. But I also have a friend who says, there's no way. If an avocado comes into my house, it's going to be in my head and I have to eat the whole thing. So you have to know yourself what's going to trigger you, what's not going to trigger you. And honestly, this tastes fantastic, even without the avocado, even without the avocado in there. So.
Yeah, I usually try to get my healthy fats from nuts and seeds, and I tell people, you know, if you can't have nuts around the house, seeds are usually okay to have, some hemp seeds and things like that, because mostly you probably won't be snacking on those, right?
Oh, like absolutely. I won't. I'm not going to do it on hemp seeds or flax seeds.
Yeah.
Grind up some flaxseed, toss that in there. But I think it's important because some people see us and we use the avocado and they're like, oh, I'm free to use avocado. And then they call, well, why am I not losing weight? Well, okay. I've always said if you're on a weight loss journey, do not use the avocado. But if you're at goal weight and it doesn't trigger you and you're okay with just having a little bit, then so be it.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, so what are we adding next? So I love these. These are called jalapeno peppers that are pickled jalapeno peppers. And
Okay.
they're already chopped up. There is a little bit of sodium in here. So if that's going to bother you, don't use it. But I'm always on the low side of sodium, believe it or not, because I don't use anything. So I will add a little bit of the liquid to this, and I'll add the jalapenos to this.
Right. I usually there's a certain amount of sodium that I allow for in my diet in addition to what comes naturally in the food. And as long as I don't go over that, it's, not a thing for me. So sometimes I might use a low sodium salsa, but oftentimes because you're making such a large dish that there really isn't that much that you're adding when per serving, right?
And I agree with you. I added 2 tablespoons in here.
Yeah.
But this is a huge salad and it's going to feed a lot of people. But I have to put that disclaimer that if they don't want to add it in here, they don't have to. I've done it in the past where I'll put jalapeno peppers in here, like the ground up jalapeno peppers. You can add that to it.
That's smart.
Yeah, because it just makes it, I don't know, but the pickle just makes it really tasty. Now, I'm also going to be adding pico de gallo. Now, I didn't have time to go and make it, and it's super easy, and I should have made it myself, but I went to the store, to Trader Joe's, and I bought it, and we're going to add a little bit of, because the dressing for this is going to be really difficult. Basically, your dressing is the pico de gallo, the pickled jalapeno peppers, and fresh lime juice, and the zest. That's your dressing. It really doesn't get any easier than that. So we're going to add that in here. Isn't this better than getting a burrito at the store now?
Oh, yeah, I love it. You can make it, like you said, they don't have to go exactly with the recipes ingredients that you're putting in. These are just a guideline. So if there was some particular component that they didn't have on hand or they didn't care for, they could just leave it out or put something else in there.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I do is when I buy a lot of limes, and I do buy a lot, I will juice it. So I will always, always, always have fresh lime juice or lemon juice, because I have a lemon tree at home, and I will always have it fresh on hand. If you are going to be using lemon or lime, please, please make sure you put the zest in there. The zest just adds such a nice aroma, and it just makes everything just pop. It just makes it absolutely delicious. And it's not hard to zest it. All you need is a microplane.
Yeah. And the zest actually has components in it that protect us from the damaging rays of the sun. So when we ingest it, not to say that we should stay out in the sun all day or not protect ourselves,
Right.
but it adds protection, a layer of protection to our skin when we eat the zest of citrus. So I love that you include that.
Well, it just adds such a beautiful fragrance to your food, and it just makes it so tasty. I really didn't know about the protection from the sun. That was new to me today. I did not know.
Like we said, we're always learning, and that's what's so much fun about this.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate you mentioning that. So do you use a lot of dressing?
I make a big A salad every day, but actually I make them maybe once or twice a week because I make a really big one so that I have, and I put them in individual bowls so that I can have it for lunch. I chop it up really small, but I always have that. And part of it that I put in the salad is actually I'll put in fresh fruits. And usually an orange will go in there, and I will zest it and put some of that zest in there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was Dr. Furman that talked about it, because he likes to. There are many varieties, and he likes to eat a certain variety of a kumquat, which looks like a little orange, and you don't peel it; you just pop it in your mouth.
I tried to find that kumquat out here,
Yeah.
and I can't find it.
Oh, okay. He probably grows them now
Well,
because he's
now
living in
he's
California
in
now.
Southern California now.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so where he is in San Diego, he's got like this huge area where he's growing everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. But you can grow things. I mean, when he lived in New Jersey, he used to grow fig trees, and then he put them in pots, and then in the winter he would bring the pots into his garage.
Listen,
So
Amy, he's got a green thumb. I don't.
I don't. I'm just telling people don't feel bad if you're not in California. That sometimes even if you have a little herb garden or something in your windowsill, there's a way to do it if you really want to.
Absolutely. I agree. But I got to find out that kumquat because that sounds so. I like kumquat. Now, as far as how much lime to put in here, we'll just put in as much as you like and taste it and see if the taste is there. So you could adjust the seasoning. You can add black pepper to this if you like. And this tastes really better, I think, the second day because everything has marinated and everything is full of flavor. The other thing we're going to add is cilantro. Now, I know there's people out there that say cilantro tastes like soap to them, and I'm so sorry that it tastes like soap, but it's absolutely delicious. So why not add fresh dill? Why not add parsley? Growing up in my country, I'm from Iran. My parents are from Iran. And we always at every meal had fresh herbs on the table. So I've grown up eating a lot of fresh herbs. And we try to add that to a lot of our food. And if you always make a salad every day, like Dr. Furman recommends, we should have a salad every day. Please make sure to add fresh herbs to it. It'll just kick your salad to a different level. And these herbs are so good for you.
Yeah, and also they say that variety and you should have, many different types of vegetables and fruits in your diet. So when you're eating these herbs, that counts as the variety and adding to the different types of things that you're adding. So if you're getting the oregano or the basil or the thyme, you can count those as the different types of foods that you're adding to your diet. So it's so important. I use Italian seasoning in when I make my salads just so that I can have some extra green veggies in there.
Oh no, I remember my grandmother used to grow a lot of it when
Oh.
she was alive, and at the end she always had we always would go to grandma's house for fresh mint. Like it was absurd to go buy mint at the store because you can grow it yourself so good. And
Yeah,
mint is
but they say it takes over your garden if you plant it, so you have to give it a
it
separate
does.
place because it grows so easily.
It really truly does. So let me just mix this up. So at this point, you want to taste it and see, do you want to add more pico de gallo? Do you want to add more lemon juice? Do you want to add more cilantro? Whatever it is that you want to add. Let me show you the salad. If you can see how beautiful and colorful that is.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I wish you were here, Amy.
I know. I'm gonna have to make it over there one day.
Yeah, you do. This is really good. If you do buy the pickled jalapeno, just know if you're sensitive to it being spicy, sometimes you do get a piece in there that it is a little bit spicy.
Oh,
But it does come in two versions. This is the regular one, and it's certified vegan, gluten-free, non-GMO, project verified, no artificial flavors or colors, which is great. It's but there also comes in like hot, and I can't do hot.
yeah.
So when you're buying it, just be careful so that you make sure that you get it to to your taste and what you like and all that stuff.
Yeah, because sometimes when you buy things like that, the label will look very similar to another label that is one is mild and one is hot. And if you don't look carefully, you might pick out the wrong one that might have been mixed up on the shelf or something. So yeah.
And see, once you have everything, it comes together really fast and really easy. And okay, if you guys want to put it in a wrap, I guess you could. You could. I would use collard greens, and I would wrap it in a collard green, and I've done that before, and it's absolutely delicious. Or if you want to wrap it in a corn tortilla, I guess you could do that too. But it's just whatever journey you're on, and you know best what's good for you. And like I said, you really don't need the avocado in here. It does add an extra kick to it, but I'm quite happy with just eating this without the avocado.
Oh yeah, I could just dig in right there. That would be mine. Where's
Yep.
yours?
I'll have to make one for myself. Exactly.
Well, can you hold it up closer to the camera so we can take a nice look at it and then tilt it a little bit? There you go. Beautiful. So fresh and colorful too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's just so nice. So Stephanie Simpson wants to know, how long will this keep in the fridge?
This will keep, if you don't add the sauces to it, it'll keep for a little bit longer. But if you add it, probably about 2 or 3 days. But at our house, we'll finish that tonight. So,
Yeah.
But at least 2 or 3 days, definitely.
Yeah.
And like I said, when you add the pico and the lime juice, the flavor starts marinating, and I don't mind having the dressing on there and not eating it right away. That's just me. But some people, I know that they're like, oh no, I'm not going to add the dressing until I'm ready to eat it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just depends on how much of that you'll get more of that flavor absorbing. And then, yeah, my husband's that way. He likes all the sauces and everything smothered and everything. And dressing, I'm okay, but sometimes it's too much for me.
Right.
I think it came from all those years of, oh, please put my dressing on the side so I can take an eyedropper and put it.
Probably.
And so you're so used to not having all those intense flavors that, but now we don't need an eyedropper, right? We can just pour it on and it'll be great.
And look how easy the dressing is. You don't need you need this and you need that. And to make a fancy dressing, you really don't. 9 out of 10, my dressing is lime juice. And then I use this balsamic vinegar that I get at the market. And it's Napa Valley Naturals balsamic vinegar that's been aged Grand Reserve for 25 years.
Yep. That's one of my husband's favorite vinegars.
Yeah. So all you need is a little bit of that vinegar.
Yeah.
And this lime juice. Bam, you've got, and if you want, sometimes I will add just a little bit of nutritional yeast and mix it, and it's absolutely delicious.
Oh, I never thought about that. That might be very interesting. And see, you don't even need it. Sometimes people have to have a Vitamix or high-speed blender in order to make a dressing. And for this one, you didn't need to do that at all.
This is how, I don't make that much dressing. I mean, I make it if we have, I actually make it when I have company over. But if it's just me or it's just my mom and my aunt, we're all about the balsamic vinegar and the lime juice, and we call it a day.
Yeah.
You can't make this too complicated. If you make this lifestyle too complicated, I think you're not going to stick with it. So simplify as much as you can, and I promise you'll get to where you need to go.
So, Thanks wants to know, what is Optimum Health Institute?
Optimum Health Institute is a place in San Diego. It's actually called OHI, and they're a raw food vegan place. So in 2006, I was breaking out in severe hives, like the size of a quarter or bigger, all over my body. And we could not figure out what was causing the hives. So my allergy doctor said, you know what, we're going to try foods. And I'm like, I've never been allergic to any food in my life. It's always been the cats, the dogs, the this, the that. He goes, no, we got to do it. Well, guess what came back testing positive?
I don't know. What was it? something food.
Eggs and dairy.
Because this is before 2012.
Yeah, this is in 2006. And
Yeah.
I absolutely, my jaw just dropped. And being Middle Eastern, we eat a lot of feta cheese. Like,
Oh, yeah.
one of my favorite things was to take a tortilla with feta cheese and walnuts and tomatoes and this, that, and fresh basil, and you wrap that up. You talk to any Persian, and they're going to tell you that's one of the best meals in the world, right?
Mm.
So feta cheese, I grew up with feta cheese. Eggs, whatever, but cheese was like, and when he told me that, I'm like, no, 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 no. You made a mistake. There is no way that I'm allergic to cheese. He's like, Shayda, you can't have it. Look at you. Look at all the welts all over your body. I'm like, are you sure? I'm like, run the test. He's like, Shayda, I'm sure. I'm like, does that mean no smoked Gouda either? Because those were my two favorites.
Oh, yeah.
So I said, okay. So then he gives me this pamphlet of all the foods that I got to stay away from. I'm like, okay, that's not going to be that easy to do. So somebody told me about this Optimum Health Institute in San Diego, where it's a raw vegan food place, and they do a lot of juicing, a lot of wheatgrass juice, and there's no dairy, there's no meat, there's no this. And I thought, I might as well go to a place and put myself in that place. Because if you back then, if you would have just told me, here's a piece of paper, stay away from this, I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
It would have been really easy for me to get sidetracked. So I called them up and I got all my information. They sent the pamphlet, and they have a 3-week program that you can go. You can go for 1 week at a time, but there is a 3-week program. So I went to my doctor's office and I said, Dr. Stevenson, okay, I found this place. What do you think? He goes, give me the pamphlet. So he took it and he called them in front of me. I'm like, what?
Oh, wow.
He goes, no, I got to check this out. So he called, he talked to them, and he got his information. And all of a sudden he hands me the phone. He says, give them your credit card.
Oh.
I'm like, I am? He goes, oh yeah, you're going. And I'm like, okay. So I went ahead, and the first couple of days were really tough because you're basically detoxing. And Amy, I mean, all the hives were like everywhere. The only place the hives never really hit was my face.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but from the neck down, I mean, it was itchy.
Oh,
and the first week was not pretty. But
yeah,
then
maybe it gets a little worse before it gets better, huh?
Yeah, well, and then all that had to come out of your system.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, before I even got to OHI, I had my Diet Coke, I had my burrito from Del Taco, I had all the crap that I wanted to eat before doing this, right? Big mistake. So now I'm like juicing, having green juices, doing the wheatgrass juice, eating super light, and eating healthy, right? And it wasn't until like the second week that I started to feel better. By the second week, things were getting better. By the third week, I'm like, oh my God, I'm really liking this. I really am enjoying eating a raw food diet. I'm not missing the dairy. I'm not missing this and that. So I actually extended my stay for 1 more week. And my mom's like, seriously, you want to stay? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm really enjoying this. Now, at the time that I was there, they had these jobs. It was called missionary jobs. And you could actually work, and you would have your room there. So I applied. And they're like, so I got in, and I ended up working there for 4 months, and I worked in the kitchen because I wanted to learn exactly what it was that they were doing. So I worked in the main kitchen to see how they would do their sprouting, how they would do their juicing, how they would, put everything together. And then I worked in this other room that the graduates would come through, and we were learning how to make dehydrated food. We were learning how to make the salads and this and that. And I tell you, those 4 months were the best times. And My weight came off. The only thing that was bad about it was they do advocate for nuts and stuff like the oil. They weren't oil free.
Right, because they're raw. It's hard to get enough calories on a whole
Exactly.
100% raw diet if you don't have the fats.
No, but I started to feel better. Everything cleared. I came
Mm,
home after that, and I stayed raw for 2 years. I did it, but I really missed. Like I told you, I really missed my Persian food.
yeah.
I really missed having hot food because
Mhm.
over there they taught us that nothing over 105 degrees. I have my big, like commercial size dehydrator that I got from them, and we would put the food in there. Like I'd make a raw enchilada, but it would be at 105 degrees. Well, it's not going to get warm. Um, that's when I'm like, "Ugh, I can't stick to this way of doing things anymore." But I stayed vegan. That wasn't the issue. The issue was I liked my nuts. I liked my dried fruit. I developed a taste for vegan junk food, and that threw me into a whole nother circle of gaining weight and getting really bad. So yeah, but oi chai was, for me, it was very good. I
Wow,
got I got my start from oi chai.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
See, we didn't talk about that the last time you were on, so that was pretty interesting. Okay, let's see. Oh, well, Stephanie wanted to tell you that that looks delish, and Kylie said it looks amazing.
Thank you.
Oh, and Thanks wants to know, did you find a good sub for feta?
No, I didn't. No, no. I wish I
No.
had. And you know what? I don't even want to find a good substitute for
Yeah,
feta. I don't want to be tempted because
right.
every time I see feta cheese, it reminds me of the hives. And
Oh, yeah.
I was at a conference. Oh no, I wasn't at a conference. It was some kind of vegan show, right? And they had they had made these cookies that were supposedly vegan. This is years ago, before 2012. Um, but they had swapped the names on them. So the one that had the eggs said it was vegan, and the one that had no eggs was now the regular. So like a dummy, I tasted it, right? And then 30 minutes later, as we're walking, I'm like, Paula. She's like, what? I'm like, I'm itching. And he goes, what do you mean you're? I'm like, I'm really itching. Something's not right here. Turns out we went back to the place, and sure enough, the signs had gotten switched, and I had the one that had the eggs in there.
Hmm. See that? So back then when you're like, "Is this really true?" Well, I guess it is. You had
I
your
would say,
second test, as
Neil
unfortunate as it was.
Neil Barnard is so right when he says we are addicted to cheese. He's
Yes.
right.
Yep, and most of them are high in salt anyway. So if it's just there's so many reasons for us not to have it, and that was one of the things that I found difficult also. I grew up in New York City, and where I lived, there were a lot of Greek people there, and a lot of Greek restaurants, so there's a lot of feta cheese there too.
Oh, oh yeah. We
Yeah,
like our cheese. That's what, but it
yeah.
doesn't like us anymore. So
So Anne wanted to know, does she have a plant-based non-oil recipe for am I pronouncing this right? Kashka bademna? Bademna?
okay, great
Say
segue.
say it because I know I didn't say it correctly.
Catch you by them June.
Okay. I'll
Yes,
just let you say it. I won't try again.
no, it's not. I could teach you how to pronounce it. Yes, I do have a great recipe for cashew badem june. It is not on my website. And earlier, Amy and I were talking because I want to let you guys know that I'm in the process of writing my book. And in the book, there is a lot of Persian recipes, and cashew badem june is actually going to be in that book. I'm writing this book with Dr. Gustavo Tolosa because I thought it was important that we share. Gustavo and I have a lot of similarities. I'm from the Middle East, he's from Argentina. He suffered with his weight, I suffered with my weight. He found plant-based, I found plant-based. So our journeys have crossed, and Gustavo and I do a lot of work together. And I just think I told him that, you know, we always hear about a woman's perspective on a plant-based diet and to take the weight off, but there's so many guys out there
Yes.
that you don't hear about them. And I think it would be important that you and I combine our passion and we write a book together, and you talk about your journey and I'll talk about mine, and then I'll put Persian recipes in there along with other recipes, and put in your Argentinian food that you've converted from family recipes that were handed down to you like I did. And I think it would make it really a really cool book that guys can finally pick up a book and say, oh my God, here's a guy, that look, he did it. He was able to do it. And this is exactly how he did it. Like I said, I just think I thought it was going to be cool. So yes, we are in the process of writing the book. The book is written. Now it's going through all its final editings and whatnots. And
That's
and so
exciting. I can't wait.
it's really exciting. So that was nice that somebody asked for cashew butter in June, because yes, that recipe is going to be in the book because it's one of my favorite recipes.
Yeah, maybe because we talked about when the book gets released or right before that you might come back on the show. Maybe that might be the recipe demo that you do.
Absolutely. I would love to come back and talk about the book, and absolutely, definitely.
And maybe by then I'll learn how to pronounce it. But Jessie T said, where can we find your chickpea cookie recipe?
Okay, my aunt and I are in the process of developing that recipe. So right now it's just basically in my head and in her head, and we're going to get together tomorrow night and we are going to try to figure out how to do it. But once that recipe is done and we've perfected it, then it will probably go on the website, and I'll probably go on my YouTube channel and I'll make a demo, and it'll be there for you guys to have.
Yeah, chickpeas are just so amazing because you can have them for savory things, not just as a bean. I mean, of course, we all love that no tuna salad that doesn't have tuna, but it tastes like tuna fish when you mash it up and has the same texture, but yet it can go into baking as well. And then you have the fava. I mean, chickpea is a really magical bean.
We use a lot of chickpea flour. Now, here's the interesting thing. The chickpea flour that I buy it from the Middle Eastern market, and it's by Sadaf, right? For whatever, and the ingredient, when you look on the back, the ingredient is chickpea. There's nothing else in there. But if you compare it to the Bob's Red Mill chickpea, two different flavors. I don't know why. I've tried to figure this one out. But like I said, the chickpea flour that we buy from the Middle Eastern store, ingredient, chickpea, nothing else. Bob's Red Mill, chickpea, nothing else. But yet ours is so much tastier than Bob's Red Mill. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. And then I think that happens with nutritional yeast too. Somebody might buy nutritional yeast and say, oh, I really don't like it. But if they would just try a couple of different brands, they might find one that they like better, because they do. They just sometimes taste a little different. So I want to know, when is the book coming out?
So I was hoping the book to come out for Mother's Day, but I don't think we're going to make it for Mother's Day. Okay. I really wanted it then. But it will be before the end of the year. Definitely before the end of the year.
And Lisa said, I'm so excited for your book. I can surprise my Persian husband with even more healthy Persian foods. Oh, absolutely. Wonderful.
Absolutely. And I don't know if she makes tahdig or not, but I've made it. I make tahdig, which is the fried crunchy part of the rice that we make, and everybody wants to know how to make that oil free. Well, I've got it oil free, and so that'll either be in the book, or we may do it as an incentive. If they buy the book, they're going to get that recipe to go with it.
Oh, that would be a good one.
Yeah.
Benjamin wanted to know, what is the brand of pickled jalapenos and how much sodium does it have?
This is Jeff's Garden, and it has sodium 190, and it's for 1 tablespoon.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah,
it's not too bad. Okay, where did you get that, at Trader Joe's or?
No, I got that at Sprouts.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I have Sprouts and.
You're right. So Haley wants to know, are you SOS free? SOS is sugar, oil, and salt. So she wants to know. I mean, you know that. I'm telling the people that are listening.
Pretty much I am SOS free. Um, the only way that salt is going to get in here is if I use, the pickled jalapeno, or if I buy a store-bought salsa. Um, I would say 95% of the time it is salt free. What I have started adding a little bit was miso to the soups. I learned that from Dr. Greger, that a little bit of, if you use, the chickpea miso, that it's good for us. It's got, health benefits. So if I remember, sometimes I will add miso to a soup or to a dish, but that's really about it. So yeah, I'm pretty much, and I always put salt optional because I know there's a lot of people that want salt in there. And I'm like, okay, I'll leave it as an optional. You guys knock yourself out, do whatever's good for you.
You're so right. I was talking to somebody that had some family over that was visiting from out of town, and they thought it would be wonderful to serve them their SOS free food. And some of the family members didn't care for it. And after I left, my husband said, we should have told them that maybe they should consider putting a salt shaker out for when they have people that aren't eating this way. And because my brother-in-law actually came over one time and ate with us, and he said, asked for salt, and I had some salt on hand in case we ever needed to like gargle. So
Right.
it was in this little this little thing. It didn't even have a sprinkler thing on. So I said, be careful because you have to put it in your hand, otherwise it'll all pour out. And he said, this stuff is really good. It just needed some salt. So I was happy that he was able to enjoy the food. And like you said, some people, they just want to have some salt. And if that's what's going to make it happen for you, then I
I
think
totally agree with you. Like, our Persian friends that come over and I make the stews and I make all that. Um, I add a little bit of miso to this, and it's a big pot of stew, and I'll add maybe a teaspoon of miso. And for us, it's like, okay, that's a little bit salty, but it's okay. But they like it because they don't eat like we do. And then they take the salt shaker because we have it too, and then they'll add a little bit more to it. But I've noticed with people that don't eat like us, you really do have to add a little bit of it to it because they have a hard time. They have a hard time.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm SOS free also. And when I first started eating this way, I was not enjoying the food until we learned. Actually, it was Chef AJ because in 2012 there weren't that many people out there that were cooking with SOS free, and I learned from her about the table tasting and other
That's
ways of.
really good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the table pasty I use all the time, all the time. And there's another one that called Salacious, from Spice. Is it this? Hold on, I have it here. Local Spicery. Is this it? No, this is the peppercorn. This is it. It's from Local Spicery, and I buy it online, and it's called Salacious Salt Substitute. And it's a beautiful blend. Let me see if it says the ingredients on here. There's no filters, real food, real flavor, and it's made with, this is what's in here. The ingredients are sumac, onion, tomato, mustard, kombu, thyme, cumin, and that's it.
Did
So
you say sumac was the first one, right?
yeah, sumac is, we
Yeah,
in the Middle Eastern cooking we do a lot with sumac. So sumac is
yeah,
in there, but I think the sodium really comes from kombu.
yeah, yeah.
I
That's
remember
great.
when I was at OHI, we used to take a little bit of kombu and put that like in the soup, and then they'd cook it so that would give you your natural flavors.
Very good. I tried the sumac, but I haven't tried their blend,
Oh
so
no,
maybe I'll take a look and
we
get that as well.
we buy it by the big
Right.
bottle because we go through sumac all the time, and that's another thing you guys can do. If you guys do your salads and you just put the balsamic vinegar and the lime juice, sprinkle this on top of your salad. It is absolutely delicious. And I will roast vegetables with, there's like cauliflower. All I'll put on there is sumac, and then I'll roast it in the oven. and it's just delicious.
Oh, excellent. Because I do have some on hand and I sometimes add it into certain recipes, but I never thought of just sprinkling it on top of some vegetables to roast them. I'm going to give that a shot.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
if you eat rice or quinoa, you can toss that on top of your quinoa and rice. It's delicious.
Mm, very good. So Annette said, I weigh 301 pounds. I like vegetables, but I do not know how to cook them. I'm a student and I work full time. I'm allergic to allium, onions, garlic. Oh, that's a lot of things in the allium family. Can you recommend a sub for out things in the allium family? So that's wow. No leeks, no shallots. Ugh. What
That
would you say?
Oh, well, can you just do carrots and tomatoes and greens and all the other stuff that we have? Just leave that out.
Yeah, yeah. I would say that that's a good idea. I think celery is a really good sub for that. I mean, it's not going to taste like those things, but I think
No, it's
that
not.
if you find a recipe that calls for an onion, or you could cut up some celery and saute that instead of
And
the
shallots, you're allergic
onion.
to shallots too?
Yeah, that's in the allium. Yeah, it seems like that's just such a base for so many of the recipes. So
It is. It is, but I think celery might do it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that's a tough one.
Yeah, it is, it is. But at least she likes vegetables, because for a
What
lot
do
of
you
people,
do?
that's a tough one. So,
Yeah, it's no, that's a huge win for her right there.
yes, absolutely. Well, I guess she'll look on your website and see what kind of recipes you have. Maybe she can, take the onions out and sub for the celery, and I have recipes on my Be Green with Amy website too. Wow. Well, show us one more time the beautiful bowl that you have there, and I'm gonna put you on solo layout. Isn't that gorgeous, guys? Wow. I would love to make that. I'm gonna have, um oh, Kylie said maybe she could add some sweet or mild peppers. That's a good idea.
Oh,
Thank you.
absolutely. She's
Yeah,
right.
that's a really good idea. Well, thank you, Shayda, for teaching us about this delicious Buddha bowl and giving us some cooking tips and playing the true or false game about your about your weight loss journey. That was a lot of fun too. So, and everybody, please click like to show your appreciation for Shayda's what she shared with us today. Shayda, can you tell us about what you do and where we can find you?
Absolutely. So I have a Facebook page and Instagram and my website all under Healthy Cooking with Shayda. My YouTube channel is also Healthy Cooking with Shayda, and so please visit those sites and give me a thumbs up if you like my videos, and please make sure to comment. I would love to get those comments because I do respond to those comments. And if you ever want to reach out to me, you can always reach out at healthycookingwithshayda@gmail.com. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. I also wanted to ask the people that are watching and listening, Green Warriors, what are you going to remember today? What was your takeaway? Mine was about that new spice blend that I didn't know about, or with I pronounce it sumac, and I'm going to check that out.
Yeah,
And Just Has Voice, I want to thank you for doing the promos and the voiceovers and the countdown. And Just Has Voice, tell us who is coming up next.
Have you been told you must learn to live with pain or be on medication for the rest of your life? Joan Ifland, PhD, will talk about how some chronic conditions are not necessarily incurable on Be Green with Amy Live, Wednesday, April 5th, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific.
Well, I also wanted to thank most of all you, Green Warriors, because you tuned in and you joined us and asked wonderful questions and had so many nice things to say about Shayda. And I wanted to offer all of you that if you go on my website, begreenwithamy.com/join, and all you have to do is just go ahead and type that in, and I will send you 5 free recipes. So that could be fun.
that could be great.
Yeah. So everybody go ahead and take your right hand and put it on your left shoulder and take your left hand and put it on your right shoulder and give a squeeze.
Oh, I love that. I love
That,
that.
that's a hug from me to you.
And that's a hug for me to you as well. It's been an absolute pleasure being on your show, and I can't wait till we do it again. Thanks
Oh,
so much
it's going to
for
be
having me.
great. And now if you guys want to comment in the comments my tagline, and then Shayda can also do that with me. She's going to say green with me. Are you ready, Shayda?
I'm ready.
Okay. Well, until I see all of you again, remember, be strong, be well, and be
Great.
green.
I love
Thanks so
that.
much, Shayda. Bye-bye,
Thank you. Bye,
everyone.
guys. Bye, everybody.
Now you can listen to Be Green with Amy expert interviews wherever you go. Listen while walking, meal prepping, or traveling. Find Be Green with Amy on Apple, Google, Alexa, Amazon, or virtually anywhere you find podcasts. Be strong, be well, and